There is only one conclusion for this Justice Crack matter. But ask yourself this question. If Sam Amadi was available, and the other lawyer was available, and Marshal was available from day one, and Marshal insisted on being the lead counsel, and Marshal went on to file for the bail application and put only his name, and upon presenting that, the case was adjourned to May 25. Note, Marshal put only his name. Now, the friends and family of Justice Crack felt May 25 was too far. Let us make attempt to bring it closer. And then they decided to file for for the date to be brought forward. Now, Marshal, knowing that he is the one that filed, and he put only his name, instead of putting the names of every other person in the legal team, was now nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, he had not traveled. All calls were put across to him, and he did not reply. In fact, at some point, he would say, oh, it's with this person, it's with this person. Deflecting and delaying as you will have it. So, question, why did Marshal make himself unavailable for the lawyers or the other lawyers in the legal team to avail them the bail application so that they can use it to bring the hearing date forward? Why didn't he do that? Why did Marshal choose to travel on vacation, waiting till the end of the month, knowing that he has a client whose bail hearing is slated for 25th? Why did he do that? Why did he travel? These are questions. Now, after he traveled, the other lawyers in the legal team, because they could not reach Marshal, decided to file for a certified true copy of the bail application and used it to bring forward the hearing date. All of this now, Marshal is unaware. Then Sowore makes public this information. Very Dark Man hears it. Marshal hears it. And all of a sudden, Marshal decides to make an abrupt trip back without notice to Justice Crack, without notice to anybody in the legal team, without notice to the people who actually facilitated the bringing forward of that case. Everybody just assumed, oh, since they saw him on social media enjoying and flexing and chilling with Very Dark Man, and it's been reported that he was going to wait till the end of the month, that they were on their own and they made alternative arrangements. Now the question is this: why did Marshal Abubakar decide to cut his trip short, knowing that some other lawyers in the legal team facilitated the bail hearing date to be brought forward? Is it that Marshal did not expect that those lawyers are capable of handling the case where they have succeeded to bring the hearing forward? Is it what Marshal thought, or did he have another motive? Now, ask yourself this final question before we draw the conclusion. If Very Dark Man is very close friend to the Minister of Defense, and we have seen him on the day that this whole case started, the Nigerian army was giving Very Dark Man award. And Very Dark Man could not hold the Nigerian army accountable for a 72 hours enforced disappearance of Justice Crack. He could not get them to give a public apology. He couldn't. Rather, he was trying to launder the image of the Nigerian army, saying we have to work together and all that. And then you now hear the same Very Dark Man is responsible for flying Marshal Abubakar out, and then Marshal Abubakar is responsible for almost delaying, because he was unreachable, And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, at huge costs, decides to fly back, courtesy of Osimhen. And then he gets to court. And then he's told, Oga, don't worry, we don't want a repeat of what happened where you will say you are in charge, and then maybe we will need something after the case has been heard, and then we will not see you again. Legitimate concern, is it not? Let's not allow you to be lead this time. You can still be part of the legal team. It happens all the time. Now the question is, why did Marshal refuse? To the extent that Marshal insisted that if he is not the lead counsel, then he withdraws the bail application, knowing the full implication. That if he does that, Justice Crack will stay further in DSS custody. Is he helping somebody to achieve their objectives? It is clear that in all of this, the Nigerian army, particularly the counter intelligence command, is interested in flexing power beyond the provisions of the constitution powers. They are overreaching their constitutionally provided powers to show Justice Crack Shaggy. It is clear. Is that what is extending now to make sure Justice Crack stays as long as possible in detention, even though this time it is with the DSS? Here's the conclusion of the matter, in my opinion. They say evil communication corrupts good manners. Is it possible that Marshal Abubakar, wonderful lawyer, wonderful record, I would not agree that this one action should be used to generalize who Marshal Abubakar is. I still believe he's a wonderful lawyer. But I believe that his character has been compromised by his association with Very Dark Man, who happens to be, as it is now, very, very manipulative and very egotistic. The egoticism, the ego of Very Dark Man and his pride that he constantly brags about has been transferred to Marshal Abubakar, to the extent that he was willing to sacrifice the freedom of his client just to satisfy his ego. Even if you think it is unfair that, oh, you flew down, you didn't fly down with your money anyway, left for Marshal Abubakar and his own resources, he wouldn't have come back. But from what we hear from Very Dark Man, he was able to fly back courtesy of Victor Osimhen. Right? So, why sacrifice the freedom of your client for your ego? That sounds like what a Very Dark Man would do. And that sounds like what will be done as a favor to the Nigerian army. And it's just simply sad. I hope Barrister Marshal will retrace his step and acknowledge his fault in this one. But going forward, Nigerians must realize one very, very vital thing. Many times we blame the judiciary, but I can say 70 to 80% of the time, it's not the judiciary, it's the lawyers. There are lawyers that are competent but deliberately malicious. And there are many lawyers that are just incompetent. I lost my case because a lawyer was supposed to file using a writ of summons because presentation and proof of evidence was involved. But he used an originating summons. And because of that, on technical ground, my case against INEC was struck out. After over 2.5, almost 5 million spent, after 13 months of legal battle, after over 13 adjournments, right? It was struck off based on the incompetence of a lawyer. Nigerians must understand that you need to choose your lawyers wisely. And this fact was stated by what Prince Will said in his video, that Justice Joyce Abdul Malik advised Justice Crack on. That be careful the kind of lawyers you allow to represent you, because many of them seem to just be interested in social media fame. Is that what is corrupting Marshal Abubakar now? Because before Marshal became this social media lawyer that we know him to be now, when he was not in the limelight, he was a totally different Marshal. But what we're seeing now with the scandal with Tracy, with this one, Marshal, please retrace your step before it is too late. Retrace your steps. May God help us in this country. May God really, really, really help us. May 20, okay, so Monday will be 15. Monday will be 15. So on the 15th of May again, the matter comes up again for hearing. The matter comes up again. Hopefully by that time, everything would have been regularized. So Obani, Kuti Baje, Marshal Abubakar, we still believe in you, but you have to retrace your step. We're not saying don't be friends with very dark man. But please, watch it. Don't let evil communication corrupt your good manners. I beg.